Hello, Voltron fans, and welcome back to another episode of the AFTERBUZZ TV Voltron Legendary Defender After Show. We're covering episodes 8 and 9 tonight. We have a special guest with us, and it's going to be super fun. And team, it's time to form Voltron.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
I will never regret starting with this song.
Oh, you're just trying to just mess up my night is what's happening.
Don't I do that every time we come on this show?
True.
I'm an angsty teenager all over again.
I know.
Get in the robot!
But fun fact, like, seriously, I went to karaoke not too long ago with a bunch of friends at one of the, like, Japanese karaoke places, and we put this song on, and it was hilarious because we all, like, still kind of pretty much hear it. Like, we were definitely making up some of the Japanese lyrics.
As you do when you don't speak the language and you karaoke. I've done karaoke in French sometimes, and I speak it kind of. For those of you who don't get the reference, I don't know if I can recommend watching Evangelion or not. It'll mess you up something wonderful.
It depends
If you're one
on
of the
person.
children watching Voltron,
No,
wait until you're older.
No.
Wait till you're a teenager.
PG-13 back when PG-13 meant something.
True.
Anyway,
And
welcome back
movies
to the
straight up are.
Yeah, movies straight up are, yeah.
Right.
Welcome back to the Voltron After Show. We are your pilots. We will be looking at episodes 8 and 9, Rebirth and Crystal Venom. I have with me Red Lion, Emma Fyffe.
That's me, Emma Fyffe. You can find me all over the internet at my name.
Blue Lion, Alexis Torres.
Hey guys, you can find me all over social media as aTorres890.
Green Lion, Megan Salinas.
Hey guys, you can tweet at me at the Menguin. That's TheMenguin.
And I am Black Lion, Katie Cullen. You can find me on Twitter at Kiaxet. That's Kiaxet. We have the hashtag ABTV Voltron. We have the live chat up. If you have something fun to say, put it there. Or if you have a question for our wonderful guest, Emily Eiden, the voice of Shay.
Yay!
Hello.
Thank you so much for coming on
Oh,
tonight.
I'm thrilled to be here. It's very exciting.
Welcome to the Madhouse.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm thrilled with the item that you have brought along with you.
Yes.
So number one, you wouldn't be lonely on the couch, but can you explain to us exactly
Your friend.
who this is that you've brought here with you tonight?
I can. Voltron has lived at my house for several years before I was ever a part of this show. My husband is a super fan of Voltron, and so when he was a young guy in the 80s, he saved up all of his money. He said it cost him like $70.
In the 80s.
Wow.
So this is something special. So it stayed in Chicago for a long time with his aunt until she felt he was ready to have it travel out west and join us. And it joined us on one of his milestone birthdays a few years ago.
That's
And so here it is. You can imagine he was really excited when Voltron came back into his life.
Well, and I was gonna say he must have been pretty excited to be married to somebody who ended up being involved in this project.
He actually said, like, when I was auditioning, he said something to the effect of, if you were to get on Voltron, that would be like all my dreams coming true. So the pressure was on when I was auditioning.
So did you just come home from recording sessions and smile? And be like, I'm under an NDA.
I did pretty much. It was just like that. Couldn't tell him too much, but...
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that must have been fun when the series got released to like sit down with him and just watch his reaction during your episodes.
Oh, definitely. He had to go to work it came out at midnight or whatever that day.
Right.
But the morning after, he had to go to work, but we got up at like 5:30 in the morning,
Oh,
so
like
that
you
we
do.
could watch, as much as we could before he had to.
That's
It was
awesome.
very exciting,
It's as close to marathoning as you can get when you're a responsible adult.
right?
Which I am not, because I stayed home from work. I was like, what? I mean, I love you, boss Michael Berg. Love you.
It took me 3 weeks to get through this show because we were packing for a move at that point. So
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. Oh, yeah, Emma and I just moved at that point.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was the first thing I watched on my new television in my new apartment.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that was the case.
That was pretty early on for me too. I remember it came out and I had just been like unpacking stuff and like trying to make some semblance of a home, and I just was like, Voltron came out. I'm just gonna like sit and I'm gonna watch this.
I hear it's really good, and then I come home and she's halfway through the pilot, and I'm like, excuse me, are you watching Giant Robots without me?
I'm like, I can restart it. It's fine.
Yeah, she did, and it was glorious.
Yep. And for everybody in the chat, first of all, there is a lot of love for our special guest, Classic Voltron, as well as our special guest, Emily Eiden. And for people who are wondering, there's a lot of debate about when we last used the Evangelion opening on an after show. For anyone who watches the Steven Universe after show, we used it as an opening like a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yep.
When we were doing Kiki's Pizza Delivery
But my
service.
question is, did you guys ever use it on the Legend of Korra after show? I was not at AfterBuzz at that time yet, so I don't know, and I was not involved in that show.
No, we did
Actually,
not.
a good idea.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
There was a very erratic airing schedule for Korra, but
Yeah.
I think that was, we were just starting with the opening every time.
Yeah.
If
Word.
I mean, there's
Anyway.
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, convincing people to use that crazy anime as an opening. Let's do it. Let's do it. It's great. Let's swing into this. Let's talk about Rebirth, which is the only time this season where we split a two-parter between shows,
That is true.
I know.
which is super fun. So we are back on the Balmera, and we have another... I can't get past this. Oh my god. It's a laser lizard. It's laser for days.
Which, by the way, I could honestly say that I don't remember any of the giant robots from the original Voltron show. Like, when I think
never
about it,
watched
it's
it.
just like kind of a, I'm like, I think they were just generic giant monsters.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. I mean, and again, I may be wrong.
Yeah, it might just be like that it's been years.
Yeah, I think it is kind of that. I mean, I did rewatch some of the original Voltron, like not long before this show came out, but they certainly, let's put it this way, the character designs for a lot of sort of the secondary sort of characters, be they sort of, you know, the NPC of the episode or the monster of the week, they weren't as like distinctive and colorful as the characters are in this series.
Yeah.
It's like Power Rangers monsters. You have a new one every week. You kind of start running out of ideas. You will occasionally remember a really super cool one, but for the most part, it's like, well, they fought the thing, and I guess they learned a lesson.
Well, again, the plus side of having bad guys like these is not only do these ones have a distinct design that are very, very different from one another, and their abilities are very different, but they've also spaced them out in like a really good way so that when a giant monster shows up, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's not like, there's another one. Oh, it's done. We beat it. No
we
big deal.
have two this entire season.
Yeah.
And that's it. And
Yeah.
they are both, good lord, the designs on these things. I can't, with the eyes everywhere and the lasers for days.
So creepy.
I can't.
Dude, I totally agree. Yeah, James Foran in the chat said the laser lizard was creepy as hell, and I agree.
Yeah, because
That's the reason we started with the Evangelion opening. This thing was an angel.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was an angel. That's it.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of like the first Angel that you
Sure,
see,
yeah,
definitely with
absolutely.
the long arms
Yep.
and everything like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, Emily, are you particularly into the variety of giant robots versus giant robot monsters?
everything else.
I don't know that I can say much about that, but that fight with that monster is just so exciting.
It is,
So,
yeah.
so I was particularly struck by the sound design of it. Did you notice that? It actually like made my ears tingle.
Okay, I'm
I don't
not
know
the
how
only
else to
one.
describe it, but
Yeah.
there was something of where sound would sort of cut out and then zoom back in, and I just thought it was so cool.
Yeah.
It was legitimately scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Totally.
just thought they were just little suction cups, and I was like, no, they're suction cups of doom. That's what they are. That is what they are. They're the worst.
But yeah, you're right. The sound design, it gives all of the impact of every hit like this weight to it, and it's very eerie sound design too. That makes this very scary looking creature feel very scary
And
too.
I actually didn't think that the creature was going to be fast until it like got up and started zooming around, and I was like, oh wow, no, you're fast and you have lasers coming
By
out
the
of
way,
it.
it just hovers. It
Yeah,
doesn't
it
walk.
doesn't-
It
it
hovers.
hovers.
They're laser feet.
Yeah.
It has tiny little legs.
Yeah. Yeah, there is.
Johnny Bravo character.
There is, and as you say, Alexis, like
Lasers for days.
there is sort of an extra level of terror that comes from, because because you expect something that is so large to at least have the weak point of, okay, it's not particularly fast or maneuverable, but that simply was not the case with this creature.
Because with their first monster, he was kind of stationary for a majority of the time.
But it
to
was
a point.
smart.
But it was smart.
It was
and
a
then
thinking
we have,
monster.
Yeah. And then we have this guy who pretty much is just deadly in every way, shape, and form.
Well, and then he just keeps coming back.
Yeah.
Like, that's what's also so
I
scary.
I couldn't deal with the eye moving.
Yeah.
That was too much.
Yeah, it had no blind spot.
Yeah.
I love that they started with, we saw a couple episodes ago, Hiblet words, that they were starting with what was essentially a space chameleon.
Yeah.
And then they took this and made it this giant laser thing, and it still very much acted like a lizard. It was very quick, it was very reactive, it was obviously instinctive instead of thinking, and it was just scary as hell.
So cool.
They must have run out of convicts.
That's terrible.
You know, it's only a matter of time until we see them taking an innocent prisoner and making them.
No! Stop it! No! Just
tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're right. You're right.
Oh, that's
We're gonna have a
awful.
Matt Holt monster, and it's gonna be the worst thing ever.
Oh, no.
What are you doing to me? It's late. What are you doing to me? I'm not gonna be able to sleep.
Can't take these feels, no.
I don't think we'll ever go there, but it's a possibility.
Don't know. It's a Netflix show. You're
I'm not gonna put it past this show.
It's a Netflix show, but it's still a kid's show.
True,
And like I said,
true.
with the whole accidentally killing your family thing,
Oh,
there's a
I'm still
line
not
that you
over
can't.
that.
I know you're not, and it's wonderful. There's a line that you can't cross without breaking something.
Yeah.
And you know, shows like Jessica Jones and shows like other ones,
Oh.
like we've broken it already. This is where we live.
Oh,
right.
Voltron is not that kind of show.
So the chat is saying they're on board with you, Katie, but they're saying that Pitch's dad is gonna be a monster.
No, because see, he
Why?
was never a fighter, and you don't take
No.
something that can't
Well,
fight and make it into
Not to jump ahead to the next episode, but somewhere further on down the
Oh,
series, who knows? Shiro could end up as one of these.
Oh, Shiro's a sleeper agent. Let's be real.
I was like, he's probably already a monster on the inside, but not by choice. Not by choice.
We haven't gotten to Crystal Venom yet.
Yes.
Let's save it for the horror
I'm
movie.
just saying it's a possibility at this point, and I'm really sad. And can we move on to a new topic?
You're never gonna come back after this discussion, are you? Who are these people? I'm stuck in a studio with the crazy people.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, my word.
Good
love it.
lord. So this episode is just everything that could go wrong, did go wrong at the same time. Because we have the laser monster from hell. We have a dying Balmera.
Yeah.
Because at this point, it's just like, I'm done. I'm done. I've been giving up crystals for weeks. They took my kidneys. They didn't have the courtesy to leave me in an ice bath. And now there's a laser lizard on me. I'm done. I have given up. Forget this.
Yeah, I'd be on the same boat because that's a lot. That's a lot happening on the surface of my skin. Like
The,
that's too much.
the continual taking of external kidneys.
Yeah, that's not cool.
No.
He didn't even give you a juice box.
Opposite.
You guys. Galra are the worst black market surgeons.
Oh,
Terrible.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But yeah, talk about like high stakes because you have a planet collapsing in on itself, a population to evacuate, a ship that is on its last legs, and a giant evil death monster that seems to be impervious to attack.
Yeah. So, and we have a population that needs to evacuate and for a while refuses to.
I mean, they're trying to do kind of like, well, maybe not the Titanic. That's a terrible example. But like, I meant,
I'm sorry, you don't
It's
get to talk anymore about, well, okay, I'm terrible on purpose. That was
Yeah,
it.
yes. But the fact of like the captain going down with the ship kind of thing. I
Yeah,
understood
I
that.
feel like they almost felt guilty.
Yeah, because the
I mean-
Balmera's given them so much, so it's their best way to repay the Balmera.
Yeah, and I think too that, you know, with the Balmerans you are dealing with, and this is something I know I talked about a little on the last episode, where it's like you are dealing with an oppressed people, and that in of itself is already, you know, an interesting sort of story dynamic to play around with, and I really like sort of, I think they were portrayed very realistically. I mean, especially I'm really a sucker for like the character that has this inner strength that they didn't know that they had, and you know we certainly see that with a number of the Balmerans, including Shay.
Yeah.
Well, and yeah, like you were saying, this is a people that has been oppressed for literally thousands of years.
Yeah.
Entire generations have gone by without having seen the sky. They don't know what it means to be free.
Well, that's what I love is when Hung talks to Shay about being free, and she's like, free?
Yeah, what is that?
I don't understand.
I've never even heard that word.
Yeah.
What does that
Like
mean?
a dog listening to a high-pitched sound. Just kind of tilt your head and stare. I don't know, what did you think about all of this? About the Balmerans refusing to go and being turned around by one heck of a speech?
I like that they are turned. I mean, I love that because I think it's neat that you see sort of Shay rallying to the Voltron cause in the earlier episodes, and then you see Rax sort of, realize they need to help the paladins when they're stuck, they're trapped in that center of the Balmera. So I do think it's neat to sort of give Allura that power to turn the tide, sort of.
I totally agree.
Happening.
And I think too that one of the things that I liked about the way that this episode went was the fact that the Balmerans, it would have not been as realistic or interesting if the Balmerans had just been like, you know what, screw it, we're part of the rebellion now.
Right.
But they, like, I thought the way that they went about it was really realistic, where it's like yeah, we get it. Okay, like we gotta help the Voltron cause. But initially, as you say, it's like they were like, yeah, we're totally on board with Voltron, but we can't leave.
Well, I like the part of the speech. Again, I find it a little hard, like, okay, you were turned around by one epic speech. Yeah, all right. We only have 22 minutes in this episode. But I did love the part about, prevent this from happening to someone else.
Yeah.
You know what this is like. If this is too far gone, make it so someone else doesn't suffer the same fate. Empathy. Because that is what these people are based on. They literally have an empathic relationship with the planet.
I also think it's special that I think that's the first time, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's the first time we hear Shay's grandmother's.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so that, I think, adds a lot of weight to that speech and to the effect Allura has on all the people.
And also, I liked seeing that there were so many Balmerans, because we only technically got to see
like one family.
Yeah, we got to see one family, but I loved as she was saying her speech, we were going through levels and levels, and we were seeing families, we were seeing singles, we were seeing so many different
children.
I love the obvious gangly teenagers.
Yes, they were
Really
happy.
happy.
Yeah, but it was just kind of cool to see that, like, hey, we are trying to do this big cause because there are so many people on this one planet, but you can't see them because they're all underground. Like, that was more moving, and I teared up at that, because I was like, I don't want any of these people to die, because there's so many on this planet too. We gotta save them all some way.
Okay, we're gonna save them all. Oh, that happened.
But it's like we have to save all of these people from this dying planet, basically. But at the same time, you also see that these people care tremendously about their planet, which is more of a living, breathing thing than, like, say, our planet is. Like, it's more like sentient.
A little different,
Well, and for Allura, this, like, hearing them say, no, I'd rather go down with the ship, thank you for your kindness, but this is the way we want to do things, that probably hits really hard for her, because she was never given that option. Her planet is gone, and she was never given the opportunity to fight for it, or to go down with the ship or any of that. And so seeing people, choose to not be saved, like, that probably just breaks her heart, and she just can't deal with that.
And I
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that I like that she used the fact that she didn't even get to, like, be with her planet when it was being destroyed, but that they could understand what was happening because of it. So
Well, I feel like them just giving up the ghost is such a foreign concept to her.
Yeah.
Because she's been fighting for so long, and now she knows she's one of the few people left to fight. So it's like, what do you mean you're giving up? This is not an acceptable option.
Yeah.
And then we kind of get into I know better than you do territory, which is weird territory.
Again, with a little bit more time, it probably could have been parsed out in a little bit more of a less morally superior sort of way.
If we had a 3-parter.
But at the same time, like, I think it is somewhat justified in that, the Alteans are clearly a very noble race of people who, though yes, they are very altruistic and they are good and they want to, like, rescue the universe, like, they're
They're a little pushy.
They're extremely pushy.
And she probably she really does know more than them. When we're talking about that, they don't really have much concept of what is beyond, and that there is something else out there.
Yeah, the Balmerans are a very sort of simple people. Now, obviously, Shay was a character who was created specifically for this show. Now, when you like went in and you like auditioned for it, what sort of like breakdown did they give you? Did they use code names? Did they have? Because I know a lot of the time going into VO auditions, it's like.
They give you the bare bones of character
totally
description.
They're Bob, Joe, and Fred.
Yeah.
I will say, I loved Shay from the moment I got the sides. I really did, because it was a nice description. I mean, they sort of said, she's an alien rock-like monster, I think. And there was no picture, so I didn't have any, real concept of what they were envisioning. But I remember that part of the breakdown said, I think it was, she has a gentle heart but great bravery.
Yeah.
And that's what spoke to me. And it also actually said something about, how she hasn't seen the sky, she longs to see the sky, and that she sneaks up to the, to try to get closer and closer to the sky. So it was a pretty colorful description, actually. And I felt from just that breakdown that I had a sense of what I thought, Shay was. And then I just think she's beautifully written, like in those episodes. And I feel that the way they wrote her in those episodes, it was all in the sides I received and in the description, actually. It was one of the sort of neater, more exciting auditions I've ever had. And obviously it turned out well.
But besides the sky portion, that's actually my favorite part of Shay, like in general, but did you have something besides that you loved recording, whether it was with everybody or by yourself or anything of that nature?
I loved it all, but it really is the sort of the sky, that all of that is what has sort of spoken to me for personal reasons, I guess. Like for me, I've always been sort of obsessed with the night. I actually have a constellation tattoo.
Whoa,
I mean,
that's
like
awesome.
So it is Cassiopeia. And so
Look at you, Katie.
Actually, one of my jobs that I have is I narrate planetarium shows at Griffith Observatory, have you seen it?
It's my favorite thing ever.
Well, so literally, we start our show saying we tell stories about the sky here.
Yeah.
And so I personally just love that, I'm so used to sort of looking up at the planetarium sky and everything. And so then to sort of bring what I love about the sky into what Shay doesn't really know exists, but senses is up there, and what she longs to see, and all that.
Perfect for you.
I mean, I felt it was. I felt that before and not gotten the part, but I really hoped that this one would work out.
Yeah.
Now, I know we can't go into spoiler territory here. I know there's NDAs involved, but if we were to get Shay back in some capacity in season 2, what would you like to see?
I can't say what I know or don't know. And mostly it's I really don't know anything. But
hypothetical territory.
So this is just Emily wishing and hoping, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to see her again. I'd like to see her hang out with Hunk a little more.
I like that
cool.
very much.
They've made these allusions to the other Balmera
around.
So, in my daydreaming, I think it would be neat to. What I imagine is, some situation where they need to get all the Balmera on board,
totally.
get them into the alliance and all that. And so I think Shay would be a great ambassador.
Yeah, she could be like the leader of the Balmera Revolution.
That's my, that's my wish.
I want this so much.
I would love to see Shay come back with
Absolutely.
everybody and just be like, we're here to help. And I'm like, yes, you are.
Yeah.
Well, and if you think about it, Balmera are the fuel source for a lot of these ships.
Yeah.
Cut off the fuel source because it's fighting back.
Yeah. No, I could totally
We wind
see
up
that.
in outer space Mad Max, we're guessing.
Amazing.
No, we already kind of are with the dumpster fire and everything.
I still can't believe we actually said that on the air.
As far as we're concerned, the Galra Empire is a large, extensive dumpster fire.
Yes. I saw the gift that someone sent you. I did see that.
That is still one of my favorite gifts. God of the dumpster fire.
I feel like I really appreciate about like Shay as a character is how like just kind of gentle, like all the Balmerans, that like they portrayed them as being these very like gentle, sort of peaceful creatures. And I like, and again, that whole thing about the sky, like that is such a tangible emotional response. You know what I mean? When you like think about just like the desire to see the sky, or like having lived underground your whole life and never seeing the sky, like that's something that like to put yourself in that position is so easy to imagine, and like it visually elicits such an emotional response.
Well, to me, that reminded me a lot of Undertale. That's what hit me there.
People living underground wanting to see the sky.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was thinking of like the Secret of Nim, kind of like
Yeah.
that too. But like that's why Shay is one of my favorite. Like not to say that she's a side character, but like since she's not in the main full story, that
supporting character.
Yeah, supporting. There you go.
Cast.
I was trying to think of the role, but supporting cast, and it was just these two episodes, not the next one that we talked about last week, and this one was. It hit me on an emotional level that like my fiance was just like, "Hey, how you doing?" I was like, "She just wants to see the sky." And my dog's just like, "What's happening?"
Well,
Like,
It's sunrise bit at the end here must have just wiped you out.
No, that was it. I was like, "We gotta turn it off. I can't go to work."
That sunrise is like one of the prettiest things I've ever
Oh,
seen.
so good.
Yes.
I just got chills like remembering it, and I love that. I mean, because you just put yourself in Shay's shoes, where it's like these people literally like come from the sky to like liberate her people.
In the course of a day, they have taken out the infrastructure of the oppressors on the planet and destroyed a giant monster that was sent there to kill them all, and revived a dying planet. Like, any one of those things over the course of a month or a year would be incredible, but this all happened in 24 space hours. Or however long a day is on
However many
Balmera,
ticks.
who knows? However many ticks that is.
But yeah, to kind of touch on the relationship she had with Hunk, on the one hand, I totally understand that their planet is now safe from the Galra, at least in terms of...
I was like,
I was going to say not safe from the Galra, but that the Galra have been, at the moment, expelled from the planet.
Yeah.
But I was a little disappointed that she didn't get to go with them. I know her family's still there, but I was like, you said you were going to show her the universe.
I feel like
didn't
she'd be
always come
super
back,
fish out of water, though.
Aren't they all, though? They're all away from home.
Point.
But I mean, it would be nice to see Shay come back, and then maybe I could take her on a.
I do hope she gets to see more of the wonders of the
I agree.
Of the universe.
I have faith that she will come back. I mean, obviously we can't say for sure, but I'd put money on it.
I would be very surprised. Like I said, I think that all of the side characters that we get, all of the secondary characters, everyone that we get introduced to in an episode or two that hasn't come back, that isn't one of the main ones, they'll be back.
Yeah,
they will all be back.
I'm just hoping
the Avatar people are running this. They are the masters of, you've known these characters for 2 episodes. Here they are in the season finale, like, oh yeah,
I will
you
say,
guys.
I do enjoy Andrew in the chat, his comment that, if Hunk ever gets incapacitated, then Shay will pilot the yellow lion.
But not before I have a magical lion carpet ride. Okay, to see the universe. Okay.
You can actually take a pretty girl on a ride in your lion and not get handcuffed to a tree at the end of it.
Yes, that would be great. We'll get into that, but yes.
Doing what Lance does, but more successful.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to get into my blue lion counterpart. I'm not going to do it.
Next episode.
Yep.
We will talk about all of that in the horror movie that is coming up.
Oh, that episode's so good.
I loved that we got a shoulder cannon. I love the, it's not working. It's because we're not Voltron yet.
That was amazing.
yeah.
Well, and the fact that, that there were so many really good comedic interactions between Shiro and Hunk throughout this whole episode.
Yes.
Like when Shiro was basically like, all right, we're going to do evasive maneuvers and
It
just
can't shoot
distract
us all
it.
at once.
Yeah, we're gonna,
It can.
Yeah, we're gonna distract it and then distract and evade. And Hunk's like, yeah, I'm a little nervous. We're gonna be like real good at the distraction,
at the provoking
at the provoking, and not so good at the evasion.
Yeah.
There was a lot of
You
really
remember
good
how I
Hunk
told
in
you
this
we didn't
episode.
have to beat it? we're gonna beat it.
Like, and that's when you sit there and go, "Yep, he's 25." Like this is
He's a big kid.
Well, and of course, isn't this the form thingy? Moment.
I love that. It's like, we haven't formed Voltron yet. Oh, right. Got it. Right. I do that.
Which
I love the giant shoulder cannon with the multiple missiles.
Yeah.
Oh my, what a perfect weapon for
That
Hunk.
animation was
Which
perfect.
is really exciting, finding out that different Bayards do different things and create different weapons. It's like, okay, we haven't seen them from Pidge yet, and correct me if I'm wrong, we haven't seen them from Lance yet
haven't
either.
seen Lance's.
No, yeah.
And we have the gaping hole that the black bear leaves.
Yeah. That's
Mm.
disappointing.
We'll talk about that next week.
Yep.
Yeah. I know, jeez.
But yeah, no, and I really liked that they had, for each of these giant monsters, they also have to use a different strategy.
Yep.
You know, no single monster is going to be able to, you're going to be able to take it down the same way.
Well, I mean, they even said right from the get-go in this episode with, you know, the angel lizard monster cannon laser eyes.
It doesn't have a name. It's just evil.
Yeah.
It's just evil.
But anyway, that, you know, they said going into it, they're like, it was, Keith was like, oh, you know, if it's the same as the monster that we fought before, we know how to beat it. And so they like take that exact approach to it. And it's like, this is not the same as the last monster we fought.
Like,
the opposite of that.
Poor Pidge keeps getting hosed. The shield is hers. And it's just like, nope.
Yeah, no, that's
works.
rough.
Yeah.
But yeah, talking about how beautiful the sunset was, like, probably my favorite instance of animation in this entire episode was just the moment where they hit it and the monster is just flying over the cavernous hole, and it was so good. There's so much talent in the animation staff here.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Just the framing that we'll talk a lot about framing shots and whatnot in this next episode, because they really know their horror movie framing.
Yeah, I was gonna say before we move on, I loved our evil lizard guy and his DBZ spirit ball thing. It's happening. But anyway, I just wanted to throw more animation in there.
I was definitely screaming about why has nobody double tapped this giant monster yet?
Thank you.
It's down, but it might not be out. We really need to make sure that nope, there it is.
Nope.
No one ever listens to me.
Or Zombieland.
I love that the Balmera. I read the Balmera is absolutely fed up with your laser shenanigans.
Yeah, no,
Like,
I
it was
completely agree.
done.
It was like, nope, honey bunches of nope.
Which, I mean, not to dwell too much, I know we need to move on to the next episode, but does anybody think it's real? I feel like there's a lot more to Princess Allura being able to have, like, this magical connection that she made with the planet because of quintessence and magical space princess magic.
Right.
But I feel like
juice.
there's a lot more to it than that, and I'm sure they'll go into it more in, like, future seasons, but I'm like, wow, like there's clearly a lot about this character we don't know in terms of what she's capable of.
And I love that this wasn't a power that just came straight out of left field. Like, they've talked about this. When we first got introduced to the Balmera, Karan was talking about it.
Yeah.
And then we have this, like, okay, it's the logical conclusion of all that foreshadowing we've been setting up.
Totally.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I like that Karan gives us a good enough detail to be like, this is what we did in the past, and that's why she can, this is happening. I'm like, thanks for that, buddy. Because I feel like I wouldn't know what's happening.
And that no one thought of it until the ship landed, and it was like, oh, okay.
Look at the sparkles.
Again, they at that point they're like, oh, the planet's dying.
We are desperate.
Oops.
We will try anything.
Also, she pulled a Star Trek Into Darkness getting down
Oh
to
my
the
god,
planet.
talk about how cool
Planet
and
dive.
badass. Sorry, it's just her just coming down. I was like, oh my god, that's Allura, just like what Hunk said.
Yeah. Well, and I like too that, when everybody was sort of expressing concern about her going down to the planet, they're like, that thing's gonna see you and it's gonna just like laser you to death immediately. She's like, let me worry about that. You do you guys. It's fine.
You have one job. You better do it.
Yeah, distract.
And they
Yeah,
did.
and again, and ultimately, it goes back to, it's the thing that I really like about the Balmerans in general, but certainly about Shay, that, like, she is a very, like, gentle and feminine character, and that, again, like, a lot of Allura's powers are that kind of, like, nurturing, like, Mother Earth sort of power, and that's, like, that's fantastic.
Yes. I love that we have 3 distinct women in this show, and they're all so completely different from each other.
Yep.
Just like,
Yay!
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're all strong in different ways.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Not generic strong female character, but very, very
strong
different.
characters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Period. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, do we have any final thoughts on this episode?
I want to get into the horror episode.
Any final thoughts on the episode?
I don't think so. I want to talk about Crystal Venom. I love this episode so much.
There's a reason I chose the Five Nights at Freddy's shirt tonight, you guys. This is a straight up horror movie. If we hadn't had Evangelion, we would have started with like the Friday the 13th theme,
which would have been just
my
Halloween theme.
Yeah.
The
Halloween
Halloween.
theme.
Yeah. My roommate called this episode Gundam Event Horizon.
I was thinking the
God bless Lola. She's not wrong.
She'd never watched any Voltron at all, and I was rewatching this episode, and she just happened to like wander into the living room. She's like, "This is like Event Horizon. This is great." Basically, Allura is Sam Neill.
Yes.
I am home.
Yeah. The king is Sam Neill's dead wife.
Oh, wow.
But she did say about the end of the episode, she's like, "Man, it would have been better if Event Horizon could have ended this way."
Yeah, the ending of
Horizon
Event
is
Horizon.
messed up.
The ending of Event Horizon is just, as the nostalgia critic put it, an evil shrug.
Yes. I'm so glad you brought that up.
Yes.
I mean, I love that movie. Don't get me
Yeah,
wrong.
no.
The,
I mean, it's
the
great.
thing that really pinged me about this one is setting up the whole thing with Sendak and this is how we share their memories and this is how we make AI, and I'm like, this is Halo.
Yeah.
The only
no,
difference is that it doesn't kill the brain donor. Like this is how
I
they make
mean, we don't
AI
know
in
that,
Halo.
though.
Yeah.
I'm not okay.
we all
And
love
then
that
Alpha
moment.
went rampant.
We all love how Pidge was just like jumping around, like
I
and
love
looking
that
at
that's
stuff.
consistent with her. Every time there's a new piece of tech, she's like, "Hello, you called? Yes."
Oh, there's just talking about Event Horizon. There's even a moment where a character gets shot out of an arrow.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm so glad you brought
Emily, are
that
you
up.
familiar with Event Horizon?
Well, now I feel like I am.
Yeah, I mean, you basically saw a better version of Event Horizon by watching this episode.
If you're not a horror movie fan, don't seek
Don't.
out Event
I am not a
Horizon.
horror
Right,
movie
right.
fan. I've seen
I've
the
seen
Nostalgia
it.
Critic
Yeah.
review. Good enough.
No, my fiance is huge on horror, and he's like, "Babe, you gotta watch this. You're gonna hate it, but you're gonna watch it, and you're gonna
hate it.
Because I don't like horror. I'm like with Katie. I don't like horror movies, but he loves them, so we watch them together, and he's just like, "Look how silly it is."
Okay, so when it gets like that, you send Megan to your house to watch horror movies with him, and you hang out with me, and we'll watch Robots in Disguise or something.
every year since we've been together and my friends, every whole month of October, they just watch horror movies and TV shows only. You cannot
Sounds
like
like
anything else.
You are welcome to
Sounds
our
like
apartment at any
Yes.
time.
So that was gonna be my extension into that, but like, yeah, that's one of the days in October we had to watch that, and I was just like, what is happening?
If you need an escape, you are welcome anytime.
Yes, finally.
But Emily, I'm with you. I absolutely loved this episode. This
Yes.
might be my
So-
favorite episode of the
it was
season.
so good,
Because
yeah.
I am a total sucker for any time it's like, I like those sort of psychological horror films where it like plays on your fears and desires and like the house is trying to kill you.
So we want to talk about Shiro then.
Yeah.
Let's just go there.
So worried about
See,
him.
for me, the episode is all about Allura and her father.
Yeah, for me too.
And so, that's sort of near the end, so we can talk about that. But that's what, for me, is.
It was very, it was
Guilty.
very Anastasia.
Yes.
Oh my God,
Yes. No, like these 3 episodes were the ones that just tore up my heartstrings, my soul, my hopes and dreams. It was all gone. Exploded, like just terrible.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I
man.
knew something about Voltron, but I knew about those 3 episodes Shay's in, and so this episode just like sucker punched me.
Oh.
And for
I
a
get
character,
sucker punched everyone.
Yeah.
and for a character, King Alfor, for a character that we haven't really seen a whole lot of, like what an emotional, gut punch at the very end of this episode, and the fact that she's now lost him forever, that's devastating.
I ended up because I was sobbing by the end of the episode.
yeah.
And I ended up with I call it my Doctor Who headache, because I get it whenever I'm watching one of those Doctor Who episodes.
Right.
Yep,
That
makes
up,
sense.
And I cry so much that I end
your
up with
head
a horrible
starts to hurt.
headache.
Yeah.
Feels pain.
And I felt like that at the
I
end
know
of
that
this.
pain well.
Even me
It will
rewatching it.
henceforth
is
be
the
called
same.
my Voltron Doctor Who headache.
Exactly. Exactly. It's like Angels Take Manhattan. It's
why?
like sadness. Yep.
Let's not talk about
Journey's End.
Sorry to get us off
Journey's
track,
End.
but
even just the way, the way that she manually has to destroy
She
it.
hugged him to death.
Okay, I was like in my brain. I was like, did she just hug that thing and she smashed it with her hug?
She crushed it. Yeah.
I mean,
God.
for me, like, any time a character is faced with that emotional decision, and they're the one that has to make the choice to let go of this thing that is ultimately detrimental. It's killer.
And not only that, but like this was like the perfect time to have this particular episode because we've talked about it before. Voltron is so good about actions have consequences. She's still physically exhausted and probably emotionally spent from having saved a planet in the way that Altea couldn't have been saved. And so like this is the perfect time to sort of, you know, pounce on her emotionally speaking. Like you're going to try to get her at any point when she's at her most vulnerable. This was it.
Well, and a shout out to Kimberly Brooks. I just thought she was she's wonderful in the role at all times.
She is, but
this episode,
it was particularly good. Catherine Nguyen in the chat says Alfor's memories of him and baby Allura just ripped my heart out. I didn't need it anyway.
That whole sequence of being in the dark and the only light that you can see is her memories. I was just like, I'm done. I can't do this right now.
It didn't look like there were any pictures of her with her mom.
No.
She had mentioned her mom in one of the at some point in that episode.
I was gonna say, anybody find that weird?
I mean, I was
single dad Alfor.
I mean, there's that. But I was also, I mean, I don't know if it's like a Disney movie where the mom's just gone, but like,
I think that's what we all just
assumed because they're so used to it. But I was thinking that because it was all the memories of her dad, that it was just going to be memories of her.
That's true.
And her dad.
Which makes sense.
Because that was specifically what she was confronting was, you know, obviously her mom in one way or another seems to have been out of the picture for a long time. It's, you know, when she woke up, it wasn't like, oh, where are my parents? It was, oh, where's my dad? So
I think dad was the last person she saw when she went on.
And I think that it, you know, so obviously, like I think she's let go of mom more emotionally speaking.
Like whenever her, I think it's safe to assume that her mother has been gone for a long time. So she had probably already made peace with that before all this started going down.
All right, we are very, very short on time. I guess we're keeping a tight ship tonight, so we have to
let's get through this one.
Gonna have to burn through this, you guys.
We can do it.
We basically the Galra crystal we've infected the dumpster fire into this ship. All the systems are messed up.
The ship has become the dumpster fire
and heading towards a dumpster fire.
It's a large dumpster fire.
That was a giant dumpster fire.
Everything's a dumpster fire.
And Lance very astutely observes that the castle may be haunted.
And I knew it. I wrote the entire time.
It's a big embodiment of advanced supernatural technology that cannot be explained by science alone. That does make it seem a bit haunted, doesn't it?
Yes.
Like, I have lived in a haunted house.
So,
let me tell you, sometimes you just, okay, we're done.
No. I mean, not to get into like super detail, but when Lance got caught in the thing, that is actually one of my worst fears is getting caught like in an elevator or something.
Oh, no.
So when that happened, I was like, yep, we're together. We're totally compatible.
And then it was the airlock.
And there was that. I was
He's
like,
gonna have a fear of small enclosed spaces.
Which I already have. So I was like, Lance.
And then the gladiator chasing Key. Like, insinuation, oh god, we're gonna die.
Well, and like, way to make the training robots so menacing with that HAL 9000 eye.
And again, with the horror movie shots, we have all the Dutch angles around Shiro going crazy, and we have the blade coming through the door and forcing it open and just that red eye.
Well, The Shining and also Terminator. Very T-1000.
Yeah, it was crazy.
all horror movies all the time up in here.
Yeah, except for the food one.
Well, and I love that. That's playing Hunk and Pidge for laughs, and I love that they did that because we needed that levity.
We did.
And because just the whole, leave it for Karam?
Well,
that's not scary, that's fun.
And the fact that Hunk was like, Paige, we were just attacked by food. Like, if we can't trust food, then like the entire
we are lost of the culture.
I love how Lance was like, I almost got shot into space, and he's like, well, food, evil food.
And the whole zero gravity thing. Curse my tiny short arms.
No, it's my favorite line. It's just her
Well, because I hate those little things or something like that. He said, I hate those little things.
I was trying to swim in zero G. Like, we've all seen this in cartoons and it works. And then here it's like, no, we're following the rules here.
Well, that was what I was thinking. Like, honestly, even when like Pidge came up with the plan of like, okay, Hunk, I want you to kick me as hard as you can. I was like,
no, we're friends.
This is not gonna work.
No, and it was great.
I was love just seeing her ricochet.
Just her being like, yep, nope.
Because I was like, where are the
episode of Lights Out before Lights Out was a movie with the flickering lights and like getting closer. So
and
good.
using recorded sound bites to call for help. Just
Oh, geez.
And we have to talk about Shiro and Sendak because this is the part of the episode where I was like, oh, I'm dying.
I was gonna say,
Now,
how did
here's-
Obviously, I'm very biased.
Now, here's a question. Is this something that the ship is doing, or is this just something that's in Shiro's head?
Six of one, half a dozen of the other.
Little column A, little column B.
I agree with you. I think it is a combination of the two of them. I mean, obviously, like, terrible things were done to Shiro during the time that he was
probably
a
had
captain.
to
He
do
doesn't
terrible
remember them.
things
Do
to
we think
survive.
it's the technology that's messing with his brain?
I don't know. I think it might be some of that. I think a lot of it is kind of PTSD.
Yeah, someone had said Space Dad's having really bad PTSD
Well,
up
the
in here.
bit that got me is that you're a broken soldier, you can't hold out forever. Him saying that to Sendak, and I'm like, those don't sound like your words.
No.
That sounds like something that's been living in the corners of your mind that you haven't noticed. Like that little nest of spiders that you don't realize is there, and then you turn around and you're like, oh God, how did that get there?
Don't talk about that viral video.
Yeah.
There's a video like that?
Yes.
Oh
oops.
God!
That's what I thought you were referencing.
No! I don't need this in my life. I just have had that
Sorry.
experience before where it's like sudden spiders.
Oops.
That's Shiro's entire brain is just sudden spiders.
James Foreign referred to Shiro. It's just Shiro being the Winter Paladin.
Yeah.
See, and Shiro's like, wait,
He's
why is
got
he like Agent
a-
Washington? And I'm like, he's traumatized as anything.
He's got
oh my God,
a
you
like
guys.
metal arm, and he's definitely. I think there's a little control going
Yes.
on.
Oh,
Tiny bit.
people have drawn comics of Shiro meeting
Also-
Bucky, and it's the funniest
Oh
thing.
yeah, no, like if Hagar just reads off that list of words.
Yeah, we were good to go.
Yes, they've drawn comics of that too, and it's wonderful.
Catherine-
Boxcar
Catherine in
17.
the chat said the quiet vacuum of space is terrifying. Steven Universe is bubbled anyone?
Oh, that was a
Yeah.
terrifying
Man.
episode.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
Space is scary. If there's anything this and Gravity and Event Horizon have taught me,
Stop.
it's that space is scary.
Well, yeah.
And we also get, do you really think a monster like you could be a Voltron Paladin? And this is what has me thinking that this is just Shiro's mind playing tricks on
yeah,
him,
for
and
sure.
that these are his insecurities given voice.
Yeah.
And he has, this is the most we've seen him break down around the team ever.
Did we actually
Ever.
think that when he punched the casing that he actually did wake up, or
No.
we actually
No.
think that it was
No,
us?
'cause
No, that
every,
was definitely.
every time we saw him open
Every-
his eyes, it would cut back to it, and his eyes are still
I was gonna say
closed.
everything that was happening in this scene was 100% in Shiro's head.
Oh, yeah.
But how well
But how?
done, like
Yeah.
with Sendek's face being covered by the light, but you still see his robot eye.
Yeah. Now, Emily, obviously, I'm sure you're a little bit familiar with old school Voltron, being married to someone who is clearly a super fan. So you know that Shiro, his character in the original Go Lion, got killed off, and then Allura ended up piloting his lion. Do you think that Shiro is long for this world?
I don't know. I hope so. I want to keep Josh on the show. I don't know. I mean, I would. From what we've seen in later episodes, it seems like maybe Allura has some other path she's gonna go.
Yeah.
Not necessarily
Yeah.
just taking over a lion. So I hope we get to keep Shiro around.
I'm still down for the theory that he's a sleeper agent.
Yeah,
Like, I want it in the best and worst kinds of ways.
No, I totally see this going full Winter Soldier.
There's
no,
also
it's
the
up-
idea that he has a tracking chip in his arm.
Yeah. And
that's why
because
they at least
again,
know where they
Allura
are.
brought up, how do they keep finding
And
us?
that was the giant red flag for me. I'm like, they're using Shiro. That's what's happening.
That
The
is-
sleeper
this
agent
is-
is happening.
This is not the first time that a Robeast has nearly landed literally on top of him. They can always track
Yeah.
him down.
Yeah, nope. I think Shiro is just a giant beacon of light of like, yeah, there they are.
No, it's
Google
like,
Maps
okay,
pin.
if this one, we're arming this one in more ways than one.
Oh, that was terrible.
But we're making this one. We're making this one into a weapon. On the off chance that he slips his leash, we need to be able to get him back.
True.
There's also the theory that they sent him out there on purpose to go find the blue line.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So many fan theories. I love them. I love you all.
But also sort of a loose thread that's now out there is that they launched Sendak into space. And is it wrong to like hope that he becomes like Khan and that he just gets his revenge on them in like full Wrath of Khan style?
I just want him to be like adopted by a planet of fluffy bunnies or something like that. Like he lands on the sweetest, most innocent planet, and every attempt to conquer is just met with,
We love you.
Yeah.
Nah, I want him to go full Khan on this.
eternally grateful.
Yeah, I'm with Megan though. I want like the next season to have a Wrath of Khan episode.
oh my god! Like, oh hey, I just want to be like he's still alive, and then Lance going, oh hey, you survived the vacuum of space. Didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
Oh my word.
No body, no death, you guys.
But yeah, you said it yourself. These guys are very good about like tying up loose ends.
I'm just thinking of just the instant regret. I mean, I know he's probably not feeling it because he was having a moment, but in my brain, I was like, as soon as that thing went flying down, I was like, what?
And with a cracked glass, I was like,
I don't think he
that's
actually
probably not
cracked it.
long for this world.
I think that was also in his head. I don't think he actually managed to crack the thing.
I hope not.
Because when you saw it go
scary.
down, it wasn't cracked.
Well, because then our Wrath of Khan dreams will never happen.
Yeah,
So-
exactly.
Yeah.
And I
that's
need a
crazy.
Wrath of Khan in season 2.
Yeah, we found his dehydrated corpse in a cup somewhere.
What is it right now?
So bummed. Wasted potential.
You're on a panel with me.
It's true. It's just like, Desmond, the moon bear. How did it get here? Sorry.
I
never
do not
heard of
understand that reference.
It's a... Never mind. We'll talk about it later.
Okay.
Later. So the long and short of it is the Galra dumpster fire corrupted King Alfor's AI, and he basically tries to throw them into the sun.
Yeah.
Like,
Wait, was it the sun or was it a dying... Like
It was
a dying
It was a dying
star.
star.
Yeah, with the sun.
A sun.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
And it's so both chilling and heartbreaking to see the AI fizzing back and
Flicker.
forth.
Oh
yeah.
my god, that was
crazy.
so great.
Yeah. That was where the tears started and then did not stop.
Again, just talking about really sad, it's really going to be sad to not have that voice actor around anymore because he's so good.
Well, and you posited that Alfor might be alive out there somewhere.
Yeah, it's,
Which would be wild.
It's I
mean-
feel like, characters who are dead should stay dead to an extent, but to be fair, we don't know what happened to him, and I think it'd be really interesting if he was still alive in some capacity.
We
That would be
assume
a
that he
trip.
went down with the planet ship.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But again, we don't
Stick
know
it
for
with
sure.
Westwood.
We don't know for sure. He might still be out there somewhere.
Yep.
All right,
man,
do
what a
we
trip.
have any final thoughts on this episode?
I need more horror
love it.
animes to like
love it.
episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love that.
Do we have any final thoughts from chat?
No, everyone's just talking about poor Sven slash Shay.
Sven.
Keep going.
Pretty much everyone's talking about Winter Soldier.
that hospital.
Yeah. A lot of people are just saying Sendak. And
Yeah,
all of
Sendak's
this.
only mostly dead.
Yeah.
I am not dead yet.
You can't see him, and he's in a pod. He's
I-
both alive
I
and
agree
dead.
with Paul, where he's like, wonder what's up with Allura's mom if she is actually dead, since nobody knows.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
you
she's
know-
a Disney princess, so we could assume that she never existed.
Probably.
Again,
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
interesting, and I know we've brought this up on the panel before. It would be interesting if her dad was the Yellow Lion. How interesting would it be if both of her parents were former paladins?
Yeah.
That would be
Good.
great.
I like
Yeah,
that.
I would like that a lot.
Yeah, because we haven't seen the other paladins from Alfor's generation.
Nope.
Oh my gosh, give me the backstory for like past paladins of Voltron. That
How
would be
did
so
you
great.
make Voltron?
Yeah.
How did that occur?
Who sat there and thought lions?
5 of them.
Lions.
And then we'll put them together,
And then
it'll
it'll
be
be different
great.
colors, and it'll be super cool.
You mean like in a pyramid? No.
No, like
They
a
form a
person.
man.
like a giant man with a sword and other cool weapons.
It's so crazy. It just might work. It's one of those things where, like, when you get engineers together and you get them really drunk and they come up with schematics for all this crazy
Oh
stuff.
my god, I never thought about that.
Only the Altaians had magic to back it up.
So, like, they wake up the next morning and there's Voltron, and it's like, what did we do last night?
You can tell that it has some miles on it, like when you see the Voltron
Yeah,
figure, it's all
that's-
scuffed up.
That's
and
my
sort of-
favorite
Yeah.
thing about Voltron,
Yeah.
especially this series, is that you get to see the scuffs.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
favorite thing about the entire design of
That's
Voltron.
one of my favorite details.
Yeah.
And there's so much. I know we can't say enough good things about the animation staff, but just It's those little tiny details that really make this a really great show.
Yep, absolutely. Chat wants to know, Emily, what your Twitter handle is, because people missed the beginning of the episode.
You can find me at Emily Eiden, so it's just at EmilyeIdeен.
Sweet.
Awesome.
All right, well, we are hitting wrap up at this point. Real quick, I want to talk to you guys about iTunes. Real quick, thank you to everyone who has left a review. We adore you. You are what keeps us on the air. Rate, comment, subscribe, leave a review that lets our producers know that you like us here talking about giant robot lions and that we will be able to continue to talk about giant robot lions when season 2 comes about in the mythical future. We're not quite sure. Sometime this year, question mark? I don't think we have any
Supposedly.
new reviews from last week. We had one from the UK. I don't have it pulled up. I know it's there. I got your message on Tumblr. Thank you. The UK likes us too.
Yay!
You are a lovely human being and I adore you and I will tweet you or Tumblr you later when I'm at a computer.
Something I always forget is that they're, international conversation. I always just think about it as just us talking here at this
If
table.
you leave an iTunes review on an iTunes store that isn't the US store, screen cap it and put it in the hashtag.
Yeah, so
we
we can
want to
see
see
it.
it. We'll read them out. We adore you guys. That is all the time we have for tonight. Emily, are there any projects that you're working on that you'd like to tell us about? That you can tell us about?
I have some secret things I can't tell you about. I do a lot of audiobooks for young adults and children, so I have one coming out called It's Not You. No, It's Not Me, It's You. Very strong, very funny.
Classic.
That's probably all I can talk about right now.
It's all good.
The NDAs.
Just cursed
And where
NDAs.
can the people go online if they want to find out more about you and your work?
I have a website, EmilyEiden.com, or my Twitter handle at Emily Eiden.
All right, well, thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Thank you for having me. This is so fun.
Hey, Emma, where can the people find you?
You can find me all over the internet at my name, Emma Fyffe, EMMAFYFFE. I didn't plan very well, guys, when I agreed to do this after show. I'm not going to be here again next week because I will be in Salt Lake City at Salt Lake Comic Con. So if any of you guys are in the greater Salt Lake area and you want to come see me, I will be there with my co-hosts from my Sailor Moon podcast, Love and Justice. We'll be doing a panel, and I will also be hanging out all weekend long, probably sort of assisting some voiceover talent to be determined, but it should be somebody pretty cool.
Oh man, I have to follow that? You can find me sitting on my
always
couch, cuddling my dog and watching more Voltron. AToys890 through all social media, Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff, or it'll be mostly wedding stuff happening.
Yeah, girl.
Oh god.
Okay, I'm Megan. You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at TheMenguin. That's TheMenguin. I'm also on a bunch of shows here at AfterBuzz, and I write articles for The Movie Chick. That's Chick with 2 Ks. Be sure to check those out.
And I'm Katie Cullen. You can find me on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, and YouTube at KiaXet. That is KIAXET. I'm also on Snapchat at Kia Prime. YouTube is mostly my face reacting to episodes of stuff.
It's
so if you
beautiful.
want to
Watch
see
it.
that, you can subscribe there. Voltron, next week we are at 9 p.m. Pacific. We will be an hour earlier, so stay tuned for that. The Steven Universe After Show is back next week, Thursday the 1st at 8 p.m. So we're kind of doing a fun little science fiction double feature. Tune in for that. It is going to be super fun. And all the Rooster Teeth stuff is on alternating weeks. Check the schedule. We will let you know. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight, and we will see you next time.
Bye guys.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Curse my short arms!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.